Isekai.
The Rebirth of the Malicious Empress of Military Lineage. Chapter 38, Gifting Flowers. Little Shen girl, do you have enmity with historian advisor Jing? Shen Miao quietly watched the youth in front. His facial features were beautiful but his heroic spirits were rather pressing. Even though he had a rich playboy appearance, he had a kind of serious air that was transcendent to his age. It was not shown in his appearance but like it was following him, as if there was a kind of sense of safety feeling that one would feel even if the heavens fell. Even if she was in Qian country or the inner palace, she had never seen such a thorough person. With just one sentence, he could discern the middle of everything. For such a brilliant and talented person to die prematurely, it was true that the heavens were jealous of heroic geniuses. Pity flashed in her eyes, but when she spoke again, her voice was flat and plain. Yes, you have taken the roundabout route for this chess game. Zi Jingxing examined her closely. To go about such a meandering way just to send Zhao Yan into the official circles. Could it be that you want to throw Ming Qi's official circles into disorder? Even Shen Miao, who had lived for 2 lifetimes, could not help but feel slightly surprised. She could say that Zi Jingxing's performance was overtly smart and was able to immediately conclude things with one hint. Now this person was truly scary. Ordinary people would take a step and look at the next step. Smart people would take a step and see the next 10 steps. With those seemingly ordinary words, Zi Jingxing took a step and saw thousands of miles away. To be that unabashedly and get straight to the point made her somewhat unsure of how to respond. After a moment she then replied, "What does it get to do with little Marquis?" This Marquis is not concerned of Ming Qi's official circles, but the Marquis of Linan must not be touched. There were some warnings in his tone. If you have any intentions for the residence of the Marquis of Linan, then don't blame this Marquis for being rude. Shen Miao took a look at him. Zi Jingxing had always loathed the Marquis of Linan's residence extremely, and loved to go against his father. But now it seems that it was not complete hatred. He seemed to have the Marquis of Linan in his heart. Otherwise, he would not have protected the reputation of the entire Marquis of Linan's residence in the last lifetime and ending up with tens of thousands of arrows piercing his heart. And it was also understandable for Zi Jingxing to be suspicious of her acting upon the Zi family. The Shen and Zi families had never been able to see eye to eye, and with her current actions that no one seemed to understand, it would seem to others that the Shen family would make the Zi family stumble. Marquis Zi can rest assured. She spoke with a tone as if she was speaking of the weather today. The Zi and Shen families are like well water not intruding with the river water, thus naturally would not cause any trouble. What Marquis Zi worries about would not happen. A person's life is only a short few decades. The reversal of the Wheel of Fortune could also happen. The Zi family views the Shen family as enemies, but who would know if there would be a day in the future where they would be in the same boat under the wind and rain to deal with the same enemy. Is this you expressing your goodwill to me? Zi Jingxing raised his eyebrows. Yes. Shen Miao calmly said. Zi Jingxing sized the young female in front of him. From when he was born till the present, he had seen countless women. When he was young, those women wanted to get closer to his father, and afterward, those women got closer to him. Among these women, some had flowery words, those who were devastatingly beautiful, those who could brandish swords and spears, and even those who were scheming and resourceful. Zi Jingxing had seen thousands of types of smart people, but not one of them made him feel surprised like this person in front of him. Perhaps it was the intuition that was born at the tip of the sword on the battlefield. Zi Jingxing could smell the bloodthirst from this young female, as if there was a pool of stagnant water, but there was a lurking fierce beast in the bottom. At the moment the surface looked calm and peaceful, it did not move and was waiting for a chance to break through the sun, and when that day happened, there would be a reign of terror. Although this looked rather ridiculous, how much of a storm could an unmarried female stir? But Zi Jingxing was one that never underestimated his intuition. Under the lotus-purple cloak that was being blown by the wind, the young female's face was somewhat frozen, but the lush plum blossom forest made her seem to stand out like one from the palace. Noble, lonely, decisive, bottomless like an abyss. The Shen family unexpectedly has such a smart person. His remarks had a somewhat ridiculing tone, but there was some firmness as he spoke. This being the case, then you should do as you wish. I would treat today as watching a good show. You better not disappoint this Marquis. He stood up and turned around to leave. Marquis Z. Shen Miao called to stop him. What other matters are there? He stood still and asked without looking back. The two Shu younger brothers of the Z family would also go up on stage in the academy examinations. Shen Miao said lightly. Would Marquis Z indulge that much? The two Shu younger brothers of the Z family were born from a Yin, Madame Feng, and both, Zi Changwu and Zi Changjiao were currently in grade 2. Zi Jingxing was also Guang Wentang's grade 3 student, but because he did as his wishes, Guang Wentang was unable to restrain him and thus they let him be. Otherwise, Zi Jingxing would be taking the academy examinations with his grade 2 Shu younger brothers. In the previous life, Zi Jingxing of course did not participate in the academy examinations, and his two Shu younger brothers were able to grab the limelight. In all fairness, Zi Changwu and Zi Changjiao were considered very capable and among the best in the martial category. Therefore, they caught the emperor's eyes and later were deliberately promoted by Fu Ziyu to handle matters for him. Shen Miao had always felt that the Marquis of Linan and his son were smart people and wondered how did they end up like that in the past lifetime. Although the imperial family gave out aid, the ones who received the shade were those three, mother and sons. In fact, with careful considerations, there was no lack of doubts. For instance, the collapse of the Shen family in the previous lifetime, there was a helping hand from the second and third household. So it would seem that there was also a problem within the Z family. You are hoping that this Marquis would go up and compete with them? Zi Jingxin looked back as he said with some surprise, just like you fighting with your older sister. How would Marquis's situation be the same as mine? Shen Miao ignored his words of ridicule and said, the deepest knife is precisely in the hands of the closest people. I naturally understand that Marquis is a noble person and would not worry unduly over minor matters with the Shu sons. But 1,000-mile dike was destroyed by an ant's nest. A seemingly unremarkable plaything it may look like, but it's a venomous snake in the darkness. Her every word and sentence was spoken very clearly. It was very clearly a warning tone, but her eyes were as clear as a young child. One must cut them off in the bud and ensure that they would never be able to sprout, comparing to letting them have unlimited support from nobles. For these snake-like brothers, to compete with them and let them make a fool of themselves in front of everyone, wouldn't one be more delighted than pretending in the residence? Zi Jingxing's heart moved. His mother was the blue-blooded noble Princess Yu King and he did not want to be bothered with the Shu sons, as these people would say that his bearing was not up there and mention that his birth mother was angered to death by jealousy when she was pregnant. He did not care about his reputation, but he would forever take into account Princess Yu King's reputation. In Marquis of Linan's residence, he would treat the mother and sons, those three people, coldly. Even though the Marquis of Linen would be biased towards him, outsiders would gossip unnecessarily. All that those three needed to do was to show a respectful and loving appearance, which made him nauseous. He just wanted to be an outsider watching the three of them acting. Thus Shen Miao's words made his heart move. If one were to extinguish their hope, wouldn't it be more fun to shed all pretense of cordiality and let them be frustrated of being unable to show the face of being respectful? Shen Miao's voice seemed to be somewhat bewitching as she said, "It has been a long time. Don't tolerate." He lowered his head and looked at the person closely. That young female had a light scent of delicate fragrance just like herself, looking pure in appearance but in actuality cold and indifferent. He knew the purpose of the suggestion, but one was unable to refuse it. His lips hooked up to a smile, and with a sweep of his sleeves, the begonia flower was falling onto his palm. In the next second, where the begonia flower was before, there was now a small jade begonia in its place. He smiled, yet he did not smile as he picked up the flower and spoke with an ambiguous tone. "You are interesting. This flower is bestowed on you. The suggestion is not bad. Many thanks."